is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. This isn't a Wednesday, it's Thursday. How's everybody doing? My apologies for not doing a live yesterday. I had some technical difficulties that popped up. So I thought I'd make it up to you guys by going live today on this special Thursday. And I'm arriving with goods. I'm arriving with, gifts to those. I went and saw Final Destination today. Final Destination Bloodlines. So I'm going to give you my live review. You know what? I've never done a live review before, so I'm going to give it a shot right now. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clip it, maybe post it up as a solo review. So I'm going to see how this goes. I just left the theater an hour ago, and I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Again, non-spoiler. So you don't have to worry about spoilers or anything like that. I'm just going to talk about the film, and we'll go from there. And what do we have here in the comments here? So excited for the movie. Yeah, I think you're going to enjoy it. So I'll go ahead and get into that in just a bit. But again, welcome to the live, everybody. How the lives go, I usually have two topics I want to talk about. I'm going to touch on Final Destination. I also want to touch on the Superman trailer that came out a couple days ago, I think on Wednesday. And just give you my initial reactions on that. And then just a live Q&A. So again, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask away. Share the live, have some comments, throw them in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. But before we do that, let me go ahead and get this ready for you. So, Final Destination. Let's talk about that real quick. I want to go back in time and talk about the original one. I do remember it coming out in the early 2000s, and in my opinion, it was very original. I love the concept. It was just very chilling. I remember everybody talking about it. It had a word of mouth thing, like, "Hey, dude, it's pretty cool. Like, death is just like this entity. It just shows up, and if you cheat death doesn't like you fucking with its timeline, and it's going to come back and get you and all that stuff." So it was very original, and I think the deaths in the first one were just like kind of chilling. I mean, we've all seen deaths in movies, right? We've all seen, people get killed in movies in all types of ways, but the original brought a sense of realism, in my opinion. Like a sense of realism because of how they died. And I think the first movie was just an airplane crash, right? And so forth. And the second one has the infamous log scene with the tractor trailer, things of that nature. So it always had original kills, but I think this is the sixth installment that we just saw, but I think by the fourth or the fifth, we all knew the cadence of the movies. We know what was going to happen, right? So, there's a big premonition at the beginning of the film. Somebody snaps out of it, and, they tell people to get off the bus or whatever the case, and they go, and then death kind of follows them along the way. So we've seen that. And again, the formula, maybe it ran dry a little bit, but they were always fun. I mean, you walk into these movies and they're fun movies. You know what to expect, right? So you're not expecting a Shakespearean, Coen Brothers script. It's going to be a fun movie. So let me go ahead and preface that. So I'll go ahead and start with the pros for Final Destination Bloodlines, okay? The pros for me is the movie is very self-aware of what it is, and it pokes fun at itself. It's kind of like, in the movies in Scream, where they kind of like joke with the jump scare, or do you think somebody's right behind the refrigerator and the character closes it and there's nobody there? There's a lot of sequences in this movie where they're kind of poking fun at some of the old deaths. Somebody standing in the street and like, "Hey, what can go wrong?" And then a bus comes out of nowhere. They kind of poke fun at that. So I did enjoy that. They're self-aware and they're having fun with the concept and the mythology of it, right? The characters, they are, I guess, likable. I mean, they're all more or less the same. And I was kind of curious who the characters would be, because the movie starts off with this young woman. She's a college student. She's having 2 months worth of nightmares, and the nightmare is the same nightmare. And if you've seen the trailer of the movie, there's a sequence on top. It's like an older sequence of like people in a restaurant, like in a tower, like in San Antonio that we have here. Anyway, she goes to her family trying to investigate why these nightmares are coming from. She thinks it's maybe tied to her family. And you're thinking, who's going to be the people that are going to die in this movie? Because you have a dad and a younger brother, and then they meet another family, and then you have all the young adults. So I'm like, oh, okay, these are the people that, death's going to kill. Okay. So that was kind of funny how they set that up. But you do like the characters. I mean, it's a close family. And again, you do feel for them in some way before they die. So I will give them that. They're not just, the mortar, they're that you actually feel for the characters. So there's that. I'm an old school guy, so I love the fact that they make great use of Air Supply's song, Without You. There's a great scene when it comes to that. And the kills, as always. I mean, we all go to these movies for one reason, right? We all go to these movies for one reason, and that's the kills, right? The gore and the originality of them, how they're going to do it. And this movie does have some fun kills, and it's amazing. This one movie has one kill that may be one of my favorites of the series. It was just very original. I'm not going to give any spoilers on that, but I was really like, oh, okay. They went all out here. So I think you'll know what I'm talking about. It involves two people. So I really did enjoy that. And again, one of my favorite kills of the series so far. Also, this had Tony Todd's last performance, so shout out to Tony Todd, Candyman himself. He was classic icon. And I know this is his last role. He did look very ill. I don't know if he was, I don't know what he died from, to be honest, but he did look relatively ill in this one scene, but he owned it. Tony Todd's voice has always been it's like what you know him for. And again, he owned that scene, and it was nice to see him on the screen one last time. Now, as far as the cons, I'll just be honest with you. I mean, it comes down to this. Hold on one second.
It's the same shit. The same shit.
It's the same thing. I was actually sitting in the movie, and again, I'm enjoying it. And again, I'm walking into this movie. It's a Final Destination movie. Okay. I know what to expect because there's 5 other films before this that all, we know what to walk into. So I walked in and it's the same thing. You know how these movies go. There's a big premonition sequence at the beginning, right? There's a little twist to this one. I'm not going to say anything else outside of that. But, death is cheated, and death wants its death. Death wants its bodies, right? He racks bodies. So death is going to go after these people. And it's not just a group. I mean, Bloodlines, you find out that there's more people involved in death being cheated. So you get like a history of all the movies. It kind of ties the movies together, but not really. And again, I want to be very careful with my wording here, but it does kind of tie everything together. And like, oh, okay, that's something different. Okay, now it all kind of makes sense. So I will give it that for giving us just a dash worth of like something different, a little bit of originality. But again, if you've seen one movie, you've seen them all. And again, if you know the gimmick, you know the cadence, you know what you're going to expect. So if you love the original movies, if you love all the previous 5, and you're going in to have a good time to see some people get killed in original ways, that is what you're going to get. That is exactly what you're going to get. Some people may be bored of seeing the same shit over and over again. Some people know what they're going into. They're paying their money. They're going to get the same product they've always got in return. You're going to get that. So is the gimmick running its course? Maybe, maybe not. But again, in my opinion, there's every franchise, every horror franchise does the same thing. Like Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason, and there's some originality as the movies go on, and sometimes the movies just run their course. In my opinion, the one franchise that's been consistently great in doing the same thing, but bringing a different energy because of the cast involved is Scream. In my opinion, Scream is a fantastic series. And again, it's the same bullshit. You don't know who the ghost killer is, Ghostface. You don't know who he is, but there's always a twist, and they always kind of tie it back to the previous films. And I've never guessed correctly, except for the last one with Jack Quaid, because it was pretty obvious. But those movies all do the same thing. But again, it's the cast that brings a different type of energy to the movies, and they're all entertaining. With this movie, again, it's more or less the same. And I will give this movie a slight bump above the other Final Fantasy movies because, again, I had some emotional ties to the cast in this film. Like, usually you don't care if somebody dies in the movie, but here I actually cared. I'm like, okay, that kind of sucked, but you kind of felt for them. But again, it's the same thing. You're going to get the same experience. So take that for what it's worth. Do I recommend seeing it? If you're a fan of the franchise and this is like a date night movie and all your friends going in, you love the franchise and you're expecting the same thing, yeah, then go see it. Absolutely. If you're tired of the same gimmick and you maybe got bored around 4 or 5, then don't go. But again, I know what I was walking into, so I'm giving it a thumbs up. Go check it out. You're getting the same energy, same fun, and you know what to expect. It's the same thing. This is not a spoiler, but it's the same thing. When death shows up, what do you see first? Wind. Wind, and then a chime or something like that. And then people look around, and it's the same thing. So you're going to get that. So let me get to the comments here real quick. Do you guys like the franchise? Have y'all seen this recent one that just came out? I know it just came out a couple of hours ago. I saw like the first showing. But have you guys, what do y'all think of the franchise? What's your favorite Final Destination film of the franchise? And let me get to some comments here. Yes, rest in peace, Tony Todd, man. Unbelievable talent. I'll never forget seeing Candyman in the theater for the first time and just hearing Helen. Oh, dude, that terrified the hell out of me, dude. But yes, absolutely, rest in peace, Tony Todd, man. Fantastic actor. I hope it's going to be the best use of his character in the franchise, which is not a tall order. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. You know, it's kind of like that one actor that comes again. This is not a spoiler, right? I'm not even talking about this one that's in the theaters, but you know how the sequence goes, right? They're trying to cheat death. They find out somebody escaped death. They go look at that character, go find him or her, right? And they give a little exposition and then they're gone from the movie. So it's kind of like the same thing. Hey, what is up? Is it some neat? Am I pronouncing your name right? I hope I am. But what's up, man? Good to see you. To be honest, the only one that I genuinely hated is the fourth one. Love each one, save for that one. Yeah, which is the one with the bridge. I remember that one on the bridge, the deaths and that, especially that one actor getting like covered in tar. That really like, man, that was a gruesome death, man. That was like, I think one of my favorite death sequences is the bridge one. I think that's four. I think that's four. Hey, Joey, what's up, man? Hey, everybody. Really hope you're having a good night. Yes, I am, man. Sorry I wasn't able to go live yesterday, but again, I had some technical difficulties and I couldn't help it. So doing it today. I'm making it up here on the Thursday. My favorite is the third one. It's awesome. I think, yeah, I do recall that one. The second one was with the trees in the 18-wheeler, right? I mean, everybody loves that one. Everybody remembers that one. I forgot what the third one was. Remind me. But again, if that's your favorite, that's cool. What else? Does everybody else have a favorite in the series? Let me know. But again, they're guilty pleasures. They're fun. You're gonna get what you're gonna walk in getting what to expect. And again, I had a great experience because I knew what I was walking into. So there is my quick non-spoiler review. Final Destination Bloodlines non-spoiler. Okay. I think my favorite death, and I think I've been thinking about doing a video on this, like ranking my favorite deaths in the series. I think the one that really kind of stuck to me, that was like, ooh, that was uncomfortable to see, was the two girls in the tanning bed. I think that was part two. You remember that one? Part two, where the two girls in the tanning bed. It's not over complicated. It's simple, just two people burning alive and just hearing them scream. And there's the overhead shot of the two tanning beds, and then it cuts to the funeral. I thought that was very clever, and just the performances of those young actresses, that really stuck to me. Like, oh, that's kind of chilling. It's like really good. Ugh. What do we have here? Oh, it's a solid franchise, save for the fourth one. They consistently good, but none of them. Yeah, they're guilty pleasures. Like I said, the gimmick is still the same, and that's what I saw here with the last one, Bloodlines. I do like how they kind of connect all the other movies together from the event that happened a long time ago. I thought that was pretty neat, but it's the same thing, and we all go for the kills. That's all we're going to see. But yeah, it's a solid franchise. I have fun with it. But that's probably my favorite kill. Is the death scene is the two girls in the tanning bed. That's always kind of stuck to me. But again, I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next topic here. But if you guys in the chat, go ahead and just share, like, what's your favorite death? What's your favorite installment of the franchise? Let me know. I don't think I saw 5. I don't think I saw that one. I think that was in 3D. I could be wrong. But again, the last one I saw in the theaters was the one on the bridge. And that one was pretty gross to me. Just that whole death sequence is pretty tough. But as far as the next one, I'll go to the next topic. We're going to talk about the Superman trailer that came out yesterday. I saw it. I did a reaction to it. And again, I'm not really big on reactions, and I kind of broke my own set of rules here because I usually just stick to the teaser, and I don't watch any of the future trailers because they tend to give away more of the story, and I want to go in as blind as possible. But I bit the bullet and decided to go ahead and watch the trailer that came out yesterday because, you know, it's going to be clipped all the hell. People are going to be talking about it, so I figured I'd watch it and just kind of see what was up. And I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. It didn't blow me away. It didn't give me the goosebumps like the 5-minute teaser that came out not too long ago, and also the first trailer. The first trailer, the music, the score, everything, that was all like goosebumps and, you know, nerd hard on. I was just like, oh, like, watch it, really shut up.
No, just shut the fuck up and do it already.
Yeah. So the first one was epic. I loved it. It got me excited for the movie. But this one, it was cool, and I've seen some complaints and criticisms. And by the way, everybody, go ahead and put it in the chat what your thoughts were. Super chats are always appreciated. Thank you so much. And a lot of people are complaining that the trailer starts off with Superman being interviewed by Lois, and she's like, "You want to do an interview?" He's like, "Sure." So she starts asking him questions about his heroics. Like, you know, he started like a big, I guess, international kind of like debate. Every action is a political action, and he's getting frustrated. And a lot of people were complaining that I've read online that, you know, that's not how Superman acts. He's acting like a man-child. And in my opinion, I don't think so. That's not the way I saw it, because ultimately, in my opinion, for Superman, he wants to save lives. That's all it comes down to, is just saving lives. And I think his frustration in that first part of the trailer was kind of reminding us how we overcomplicate things sometimes. Maybe because we don't want to do this particular thing. We don't want other people to think about how we think, or maybe we don't want to show sympathies to a certain type of people. It's so political, and people aren't doing just the simple things and just saving lives. And I think that's a reminder and kind of hones in on Superman, like, hey, let's not over politicize thing. There was two countries at war. He goes, intervenes, and he stops the war, and he saved lives. But again, the political consequences of that don't mean anything. Maybe they should, but in the character's eyes, they don't mean anything. It's all about saving people. And I really think I love that angle. I don't think it was anything tied to him being a man child or acting like a kid or being frustrated. I just think it just hones in on the character. Saving lives is all that matters. Superman. And that makes complete sense, to simplify just saving somebody in a war-torn country. That makes tons of sense. But I do like how it's kind of bringing in BVS, Batman versus Superman, in a way. And I know a lot of people didn't like the whole political angle when it came to BVS, but I think it's needed. And let's be honest, I think most comic book heroes and stories, I love that James Gunn is going to approach this from a fantasy element and keep it really kind of honed in on the comic book world and genre. But I think we do have to address consequences in heroics. And I think Marvel, yeah, they did it. And I believe in Civil War, which I did like that dialogue, because again, you throw somebody through a building, there's going to be people that die, and the building is going to come down. So who's going to pay for that? Who's held accountable? So I do like that. And I think there's going to be a good balance. And again, I have complete trust in James Gunn and what he does. And I feel that he's going to give us a good balance. I think we're going to get a lot of humor, a lot of character arcs, and a lot of background and exposition in characters. But I also think we're going to get a little piece of that. And I'm really looking forward to that. Did you guys enjoy the trailer? What did you think? Let me know. But I enjoyed it. Again, it wasn't a great trailer. It didn't get me hyped up. I'm already hyped up enough as it is. But I thought it was a fine trailer. And I'm not going to see any more. I think they're going to make another one last one, because it comes out July 11th. I'm going to avoid everything at all costs. So after that, I'm done. I don't want to see any more. Let's see here. I've got some comments here. 1 second. I can't even pronounce that. Flaspid? I know I'm saying that wrong. I really enjoy the gymnastics kills in Final Destination 5. Oh, that's right. It is brutal and just one of the greatest horror kills, in my opinion. I do recall that one, but for me, still, is the two girls in a tanning bed. That has got to be just so brutal and just like, it's horrible to watch. And again, it just, the performances are great, and just seeing them burn alive, that was really tough. And of course, one of my other favorites is the part 2, where you have the 18-wheeler with the logs. They kind of make fun of that scene in this new movie. I'm not, no spoilers, but that does come up, and hey, that's pretty funny. But again, I think everybody remembers that. But I think for Gen Z, these movies are more connected to you than for me, like Gen X, because I'm a Gen Xer. The whole platform is Gen X reviews. I remember these movies coming out, and they're like, okay, they're fine, but I think they kind of hold like a closer tithe and maybe connection to Gen Z, because you grew up with these when you're younger. These are like horror films, and they kind of resonate more with you. That's what I'm thinking. But again, it is a fun franchise. It is. Joey, what's up, man? Just like you, I wasn't planning on watching the newest trailer, but I could be surprised. So I could be surprised as possible seeing the movie. Yeah, but I was really impressed with this new one. Yeah, I was too. I really enjoyed it, and had again, no more. I don't need any more. I have an idea what we're going to walk into, and I don't want anything spoiled. I mean, there's that one sequence in the trailer from yesterday where I think the one of the woman, she's part of the authority. She's like an engineer, and she's cutting up all the robots in the Fortress of Solitude. I didn't want to see that. It's kind of like a spoiler to me now, because now I'm expecting Lex Luthor to go to the Fortress of Solitude and kind of raise hell, kind of like they did in Superman Returns. I didn't want to see that. And he also did it in Superman 2 with Gene Hackman, but I didn't want to see that. But again, that's enough. I don't need to see anymore. I'm just going to go totally blind and block my feed from anything Superman related moving forward, dude. But it was a good trailer. I mean, nothing too fancy, but it was fine. Let's see here. What do we have? One of the greatest aspects regarding the trailer is how the acting is presented. The way the actor, Corn Sweat, changes his personality so quickly. Yeah, that was very Christopher Reeve. I really giggled like a schoolgirl, like hee hee, because the interview starts. She's like Superman. He's like Miss Lane. That kind of reminded me of Christopher Reeve. Because again, I think when DVDs started blowing up in the early 2000s, I just became a DVD collector. I still have a ton of DVDs from back in the day. And I think that's when I discovered like a director's commentary and the special features, which they don't do anymore. That pisses me off. But I used to love buying my favorite films and watching them film with the director's commentary and watching the behind the scenes. And Superman, with the whole Richard Donner story and the producers, the Sulkins, that was one of the first movies I like just dove into as far as the behind the scenes features, the casting, the drama, why Richard Donner didn't direct Superman 2 and Richard Lester directed Superman 2 and the Sulkin producers. I dove into that because I just love that movie. It's still one of my favorite movies of all time. And it was pretty cool to see the audition piece, and tethering back to your comment here, Christopher Reeve, when his first audition took place, they dyed his hair. He had brown hair, and he dyed his hair like jet black with like shoe polish. And they put him like in a Superman suit. His armpits are all sweating, and he's on the ledge, and they're kind of like doing a screen test with him and this other female actress. It wasn't Margot Kidder, but he's on top of the ledge, and he says, "Good evening, Miss Lane." And Richard Donner and the producer looked at each other like, "Holy shit! Like, hey, this guy is it." No one's done that before. All the other actors they had cast were kind of going with like a comic book Batman and Robin type of style, like "Hello, Miss Lane," like an over the top, silly introduction. But he came in with the "Good evening, Miss Lane," and that's what got him the role. And I loved how they kind of brought that into that scene. So it's pretty cool. Again, I have tons of knowledge when it comes to the making of Superman, and again, one of my favorite films ever. Adam, what's up, man? Good evening. How are you doing, sir? Let's see what else we have here. The only thing I'm worried about in the Superman trailer is how many characters are in the movie. I think the trailer is showing us a lot of bits and pieces of the film, but I don't think all those characters are gonna really be a problem in the narrative. I really don't think that. I think they're gonna have small areas in the film, but they're not gonna be like a huge part of it. And again, if this were any other director outside of James Gunn, I would be concerned because again, James, look what he's done. Guardians of the Galaxy, in my opinion, are the best films the MCU has produced, and he's been at the realm, the helm, and every one of those. Because he has a great storytelling talent. He draws emotions out of these characters. We feel for the characters. I mean, hell, nobody knew who Rocket Raccoon was, or Groot, or or Star-Lord. Nobody knew those names before 2014, and then he comes in, and then other household names. And again, because we connect with them, we can relate to them, and he's always he's always balanced every character to give them enough on screen to do what they have to do without them overstaying their welcome. And he's done that consistently with The Suicide Squad, which is one of my favorite DC films. That was really good. And again, even with Peacemaker, they're all great. So I have complete faith in him, and I don't think all those characters are going to take too much away from the film. I can't name one James Gunn film where there are so many other characters in the film that it took away from the story. Can you? Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't think of one James Gunn story that actually happened. Maybe The Suicide Squad, because so many of them died at the beginning, though. That was hilarious. Hold on a second. But yeah, I'm not worried, man. I understand your concern. I really do. I mean, I really do. And I think everybody deep down is rooting for this movie. I genuinely believe that. I think everybody is rooting for this movie. I think we all want something different. And I think this film's going to deliver. I think it's really going to just open up the DC, I don't know what it's called, DCEU, DC Universe, whatever it's called. I think it's going to go well, especially with James. Okay. Adam, you had to go there. God damn it.
No, just shut the fuck up and do it already.
Okay. Christopher Reeve versus Henry Cavill. Which performance actor is your favorite? God damn it. You have to make that's like asking which is my favorite kid, man. All right. Honest answer is obviously going to be Christopher Reeve. I think Christopher Reeve is the best actor to ever put the cape and suit on. He is the best actor ever, and there's so many scenes in, like, for example, the original Superman scene where he's on this interview with Lois. He flies off the ledge, and then Christopher Reeve comes in as Clark Kent, and it was all his posture. He like hunched over, and he just had this like this high squeaky voice, or like a low confidence voice. And Lois leaves the room. He takes off the glasses and he stands straight. I mean, just that sequence, man. You can see him transform. It's just like simple body language. It's amazing. Oh my god, man, that's so damn hard. There's a scene. You know what? I wonder if I can show it. You know, the hell with being demonetized. I don't care. I got to show you this scene because not many people know of this scene. So bear with me. There's a scene in the Donner cut where Superman is playing. Christopher Reeve is talking to his father about wanting to lose his powers because he wants to be with Lois, and Christopher Reeve is playing Kal-El because Superman is three characters. It's Kal-El, it's Superman, and Clark Kent. So you get to see him play Kal-El talking to his father, Marlon Brando. So let me find that. I'm going to play it for you. And again, just check this out. So hold on one second, man. Just give me a second here. Talk amongst yourself. 1 second. Let's see here. I mean, it's awesome. So hold on. Let me put this on the screen. Take this off. Check this out. This scene just will convince me that he's the best actor to answer your question. I'm giving you the long-winded question. The long-winded answer, sorry. So check this out. This is like Superman talking to his dad.
And yet you've returned to reason with me once again. My son, I have tried to anticipate your every question. This was one I'd hoped you would not ask.
My attachment, the feelings which I have developed for a certain human being have deeply affected me, Father.
You cannot serve humanity by investing your time and emotion in one human being at the expense of the rest. The concepts are mutually exclusive.
And if I no longer wish to serve humanity,
is this how you repay their gratitude? By abandoning the weak, the defenseless, the needy for the sake of your selfish pursuits?
selfish? After all I've done for them? Will there ever come a time when I've served enough? At least they get a chance for happiness. I only ask as much, no more.
Yours is a high happiness. The fulfillment of your mission, the inspiration you must have felt. You must have felt that happiness within you. My son, surely you cannot deny that feeling.
No, I cannot. Any more than I can deny the other, which is stronger in me, Father. So much stronger.
I mean, just listen to him, man. Goddamn.
Is there no way then, Father? Must I finally be denied the one thing in life which I truly desire?
If you will not be Kal-El, if you will live as one of them, love their kind as one of them, then it follows that you must become one of them.
Okay, I'm going to end it there. But that scene alone, come on, man. Chills. Fucking goosebumps, man. Fucking goosebumps. That scene alone just showcases Christopher Reeve's acting chops. I mean, that scene alone, I don't think Henry Cavill, Brandon Routh, anybody can hold a candle to that. That is just superior, superb fucking acting, dude. And he's the most handsome man I've ever known. I mean, I'm not gay, but that guy is fucking handsome, dude. Handsome as fuck, dude. But again, that scene alone, when I first saw the Donner cut, which is my favorite cut, better than Superman 2, I go, wow, man. And believe it or not, the reason Brando wasn't in the original Superman 2 theatrical release is because the Sulkins didn't want to pay him. So they got cheap and wanted to make more money, so they cut all the Brando Christopher Reeve footage out of the original Superman 2. That's why, again, the Donner cut is a little sloppy. They did their best with like lost footage. I believe a lot of the footage was like a salt mine underneath a mountain. But They did the best they could, but the narrative is still, in my opinion, the best. So if you want to see the best cut, go watch Superman 2, the Donner cut. But that scene alone just showcases, in my opinion, the magnificent, just the wonderful acting talents of Christopher Reeve. So to answer your question, dude, who's the best actor? It's Christopher Reeves. Hands down. Hands fucking down. So, but my favorite, how can I say this? But as far as Man of Steel, I don't want to dismiss that in any way. I love Man of Steel. I went into that movie expecting a darker version of Superman because, again, the world being as it is, if a godlike figure did show up, there would be a lot of pushback, ridicule. You know, there'll be a lot of like, you know, we don't want you here. It's not like the world in the 70s or in the comic book world. So I love that narrative. And Henry Cavill is probably visually, probably the best Superman that we've had, because the guy is just is a unit. He's a fucking unit, which you kids say. He's huge, dude. He looks like Superman, the comic book version of Superman. But the best actor, in my opinion, is Christopher Reeves. So I can make a whole hour video on that. But there you go. Another comment here. My Dead Space remake collector's edition. Okay, awesome. Let's see here. Were you a fan of Superman 3 and 4? You know what? I grew up with these films. Like, I was born in 77. Superman came out in 78, and then Superman 2 came out in 80. So this, you know, we didn't have Netflix back in the day, so I only saw these on I think it was ABC Saturday Night Movies or Sunday Night Movies, and they would always be like an extended cut because they had this footage. And sometimes it was like 2 parts. You'd see the first part on Sunday and the second part on Monday. So that's how I saw these movies. And then every now and then HBO would rerun them. And these are my superhero movies. Like Christopher Reeve was my superhero, dude. This one, Flash Gordon, these were my movies. So when 3 came out, I didn't see it as like, oh, this is less superior than the others. I saw it as a Superman movie. And Richard Pryor back in the early 80s was a huge name. I mean, he was like Dave Chappelle, if not bigger, in the 80s. So they were trying to go with a comedic route. It didn't make sense. But I remember having nightmares because Superman 3, there's that sequence, you know, like they try to kill him with kryptonite. There's a missing element. So they put tar in the kryptonite. They manufacture it, but it makes Superman evil and a pervert. God, that sex scene with him and that other lady was pretty odd at the theater to watch. But that whole sequence of Superman battling evil Superman, that is, it could be, there's so many metaphors there. I think we all have demons we battle, right? So there's that. But I remember being scared in the theater when that happened, you know, aside from the jokes and, you know, I think the supercomputer at the end was supposed to be Brainiac, all these things. That sequence scared the hell out of me. And it's still one of a great sequence there. It still is. I enjoyed it. Superman 4, I went to the theater. I was a kid. I had my 7-Eleven kryptonite slushie. And I remember it just not being as good. I didn't enjoy it. But again, you're a kid. You're up there looking at the screen. It's Superman. Hey, he's fighting a bad guy. and you know, I see it now, and Canon just like had no money. The effects are horrible. So I watch it now as just like a guilty pleasure. You know, it's obviously the worst of the 4, but I think 3 is maybe a little underrated because if you think about it, this is one of the first movies I can recall in 1980, aside from War Games, that dealt with hacking a computer. So, I mean, you had computers are now becoming a thing, and then Richard Pryor being a hacker. So, yeah, it's kind of maybe ahead of its time. Maybe. I throw that out there. Maybe it's ahead of its time. But again, it's not as great as the others. In my opinion, the best one is the Richard Donner one, part 1. And again, it's so good. Think about it. It's 40 years old. It's going to be 50 years old soon. And that movie is still being used, according to Kevin Feige. They play that movie before every Marvel production. So everybody in the team and the production side will see this is what we need to do. And sometimes they've hit it, sometimes they haven't. But I think that template, it just resonates. And you look back at it now, I mean, the movie's 50 years old. They didn't have the technology to make anybody fly, and they still did a good job. So I think the movie's, oh God, what can I say? I think the movie is timeless. And I think it's just one of the best comic book heroes movies ever made. And I did reach out to Cody. I don't know if you're still in the chat, Cody, but I had asked Cody if he wanted to see it with me. Not on a live, but he's never seen it before. And I'm debating whether I want to do this or not. Like, we can just watch it. I'll record it and clip it. But I kind of want to do this because he's never seen it before, but I kind of don't, because if he doesn't like it, I'm going to be pissed off. Why don't you fucking like it, man? But I don't know. I'm thinking about doing that. So you may or may not see a video like in the next month of, it's not going to be live, but just me watching Superman with Cody and make sure he enjoys it. If he doesn't, then we're going to have some fucking problems. Anyway, let's continue on here. What do we have? Nick, let's see. We got a comment here. Oh, sorry. I gave a standing. Oh, you're talking about the Suicide Squad. I gave a standing ovation when they off. Yeah, I did too. I can't stand that guy, but it was good to see him get killed. Hey, Jason, what's up? Glad you're here, man. Glad you're here. Marlon Brando is the GOAT, man. Yeah, especially as Jor-El, man. That's awesome. I can't believe who's going to be Jor-El in the Superman movie coming up. Damn it. Let me see. I think, what's his name? We talked about it last week, I think. Stop sharing. Russell Crowe, man, as Jor-El in Man of Steel is fucking perfect casting, man. Perfect fucking casting. So let's see. Superman. Maybe I should do a video of ranking the best Jor-Els. Yeah, that's who the guy, what's his fucking name? Bradley Cooper is going to be Jor-El. Yeah, it's going to be Jor-El. I can't believe that, man. That's insane. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I will be there. And the other guy here, let me share the screen real quick. This is the cast of the new Superman movie. Here we go. Share. There we go. Let's see here. Isabella, is it Merst? She's in everything right now, man. So good for her. Her agent's really doing a good job. She's in everything. Millie, is it Alcock? I love her in the Two Dragon series in Game of Thrones. She's really good. Frank Grillo, I'm glad he's being utilized correctly, because I know in the MCU he played a brief role and he was Captain America's, like he fought Captain America in a certain sequence. But he's a great talent, man, and I'm glad he's being utilized in this universe. So good for him. And this dude, Pruitt Taylor, I've always liked him. Pruitt Taylor, like he's playing Jonathan Kent, but I know him as the actor with the shaky eye. Because every movie that he's been in that I've seen, in X-Files, Constantine, and Identity with John Cusack, he's always playing a character where his eye moves. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I don't know if that's like a muscle that he can move, or like he can like do it intentionally. I think he can, but that's the only way I know him, as the actor with the twitchy eye. He's a great talent. I mean, I love every movie he's in. He's memorable. I remember him in every movie. I think he even did an episode of the X-Files. But again, Constantine, he was great in there. And also Identity. You guys seen that movie Identity with John Cusack? But yeah, he's going to be Jonathan Kent. So I'm looking forward to that. I am looking forward to that. So let's see. Stop sharing. Boom. Let's see. Going back to some comments. Again, super chats are always appreciated, folks. Let's see here. Adam, for me, it's a razor's edge difference between Chris and Henry. Really just depends on the day you ask me. Yeah, I get that. I mean, they both have presence. They're both memorable. I mean, I think if you ask anybody in a debate with ranking them, everyone's, I think, from nostalgia pulls and heartstrings, we're going to rank Chris because he started it all. But Henry, visually, I mean, the guy he looks like Superman. He looks like the comic book version of Superman. What is the first superhero movie you walked out of the theater saying, holy shit? Batman, 1989. You have to, I wish, if anybody's my age, you were a teenager or early preteen, you remember how big the Batman movie was in 89. Because before that, all we had was the Adam West movies. You know, the silly Batman. And, you know, they were made intentionally for kids. It's supposed to be a comic book style movie. But here we had a gothic, dark Batman, black suit. It looked dark and fucking cool. Batman was killing people. It was just epic, man. I remember leaving that movie thinking, holy shit, I can't wait for another one. But that's the first movie I remember leaving. My mind was blown. And at the time, the MCU was making shit movies. They had like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie, those straight to video Captain America movies, or even the made for TV movies with the Hulk. So they never really had a big hit in the early 90s. But then the second movie I recall in the 90s leaving that was a comic book movie just being blown away was Blade. Blade is not spoken enough with us YouTube movie critics who talk about comic book movies. We need to talk about Blade and just recognize the brilliance of Blade and just the significance of what it did. It was the first big hit for Marvel. It was rated R. This is a rated R Marvel movie. The first big hit, and it was rated R. You had a black lead. It was fucking awesome. I mean, you had the whole sequence of bloodbath scene at the beginning. I loved it, man. I love that movie, and I was so looking forward to seeing other rated R movies like Blade in the theater. But that one set the tone. I think it has the first superhero landing ever. And Wesley Snipes brought it, man. That's why we're never going to get another Blade, like you said in Deadpool versus Wolverine. I mean, he brought it. And again, that movie needs to be celebrated and talked about more often, because I think we forget about how, if it wasn't for Blade, would we have the MCU? Would we? Because if it wasn't for Blade and the success it brought in, would we have the X-Men in the year 2000? And if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have Spider-Man in 2001. So again, I think we need to celebrate Blade and give it its kudos, man. I really do believe that. Nick, yep. It was an event, dude. You had to be there. Maybe it was as big as Endgame, because Endgame was an event movie. And I'll take that to my grave as one of the greatest theater experiences with my kids, taking them to see all the movies and finally it ending. Everybody was just cheering. That is very comparable to the Batman movie. There were people seeing the Batman movie multiple times. And back then that was kind of like unheard of. But again, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have like clips. I mean, there's pirated videos, but everybody was going to the theater more than once, man. Batman shirts, everything, dude, everything. I totally agree with Blade. Funny story. I was sick with a fever haze. I walked in on my parents watching it laugh out, and they let me watch it at 9 years old. Really, man? Yeah, I was like 18 and I get this. I saw an advanced screening of Blade. Let me tell you how old I am. I worked at a sunglass shop, and we used to sell these sunglasses called Black Flies. And Black Flies were the glasses that Wesley Snipes wore in part 1. He wore Oakley's in part 2, but in part 1, he wore Black Flies. And the distributor came by. He goes, "Hey man, there's this new comic book movie coming out. He's wearing these." And he gave me 2 free passes to go see an early screening of that. And I remember seeing that with the radio station, and like, who knows about Blade? And I was the only one who raised my hand, because comic book movies weren't a thing. Nobody knew who the hell Peter Parker was, but like, yeah, I know Blade. But yeah, dude, that movie is fucking awesome, dude. Fucking awesome. Yep, definitely one of the best. Yep. Batman 89 rules. I was 3 or 4, and it scared the hell out of me when I was really. Yeah, damn, that's crazy, man. Yeah. I wanted to grow up with that handshake. Oh yeah, I got a live one here. Ha 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 ha. Rudy, did you check out Clown and Cornfield? It's solid. Check it out when it comes streaming, probably at the end of the month. My son, who's about 18 and who's a big Cody Leach fan, he's always, "Dad, did you watch Cody's videos?" I'm like, "No, I fucking haven't seen Cody's videos." But anyway, my son went and saw it. My son, who's 18, he didn't like it. He said it was okay. He told me, he described it to me, and he said there's like a lot of kids, like there's a lot of kids in the movie who aren't really likable. They're very much now. I forgot. I mean, I'm like, okay, I guess I won't check it out. But when it's streaming, yeah, I'll check it out. I definitely will. Yeah, going back to, yeah, he was Crossbones in the MCU, but he was only in the movie for a little bit. Yeah. And I'm glad, and he's such a great talent, man. He's got a great visual presence, and I'm glad he's going to be utilized more. And I wish he had more time in the MCU, but I'm glad he's got his dues paid here in the DC universe. Let's see what other comments we have here, but I will check it out. Right now, I think I finally finished all the gangster movies for 31 and 31, which, man, I have to be honest with everybody, it was a chore. It was a chore. Usually I have fun watching the 31 and 31 movies. Like the first one I think I was part of was the Wrong Turn series and all that, Hellraiser. Those are all bad movies, and I enjoy bad movies because, again, they're really trying to make a good movie. No one sets out to make a bad movie. They're trying to make a good one, and I just kind of laugh at some of the acting choices and, direction and things of that nature. But I enjoyed that. But this one, these are all epic movies, and I'm going to be very clear when I start filming next week, because I have my list completed, that none of these movies are bad. So whatever I say on 31 doesn't mean it sucks. All these movies are good. It's just, I'm going to approach the reviews based on how I enjoy them. Yes, there's nostalgia in a lot of these movies, but I'm just going to go with how they resonated with me and if they remind me of anything like special or something like that. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. What other comments do we have here? My dad and I can quote Batman 89 verbatim. I always, I randomly quote movies, especially when I was going on dates. I go to like a girl's house and I'm like, hey, I like your place. It has lots of space. And that was from Batman. Nobody got it, but I got it. I mean, it's for me, damn it. I would quote Batman all the time, dude. But yeah, great soundtrack though. Does anybody like the Prince soundtrack? Has it aged well? Probably not. I mean, there's Party Man, that's good. But the vinyl was something you needed to have. But did it rock? It's okay. It's okay. What can I say? Where's the Batman? Washed in his tights. Oh God, man. But yeah, like never rub another man's rhubarb. Dance with the Devil by the Pale Moonlight. Of course, there's all those things right there. Rudy, thoughts on the canceled Tim Burton Superman movie? Yeah, Nick Cage. I think even Kevin Smith was going to write it. Dude, I fell down the rabbit hole with that because back then in the 90s, we didn't have YouTube, right? So if you wanted comic book, I wish I can run downstairs and get it, but I can't. We had Wizard Comics. That if you wanted the latest movie news in comics and who was going to be cast as what, you had to buy a Wizard comic. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I remember them announcing that. I have that issue somewhere downstairs where Nicolas Cage was going to be cast, and he had just finished Face Off, and he just finished Leaving Las Vegas. So he was an Oscar winner. So he was a big name at the time. But he, in my opinion, I just didn't see Superman because he's Nick Cage. I mean, Johnny Blaze, yeah, I can see him doing Johnny Blaze, but I just didn't see Superman. And keep in mind, this was going to be the first Superman in the movies that we've had since Christopher Reeve. And I'm talking the late 90s. So it just didn't look right to me. And Tim Burton, again, he was a big name at the time. He brought in the Batman franchise, was very successful. Beetlejuice, all those other things. But I just wasn't really looking forward to it. They had cast Chris Rock as Jimmy Olsen. And I even think Kevin Spacey had just finished Seven, and they wanted him to be Lex Luthor. So Kevin Spacey has always been considered to be Lex Luthor, even back then. So I wasn't excited about it, but I'm interested in the story because it was just going to be so out there. I mean, totally not like the comics. I think Tim was doing his own thing. I think Kevin Smith did write. He's got a funny story on that. If you find it on YouTube, check that out when Kevin Smith talks about when he met John Peters to write the script. It had nothing to do with Superman. It was just Tim Burton doing his own thing. And I'm glad it wasn't made. But I think there's a documentary out there somewhere, right? Where they talk about it. I got to look that up. Can we talk about the... maybe I need to do like a tier list. But I touched on that earlier. And to be honest, I don't remember them all because they all kind of blur together. But 1 and 2 are memorable to me. And then this last one that I saw. So Sicario better be number 1 or unsubscribe. Whatever, dude. You know what? It's going to be up there. Part 1 and 2. Possibly top 12. That good. That's probably... Oh, my God. The tension in those movies are fucking good. This town needs an enema. She's about to trade up, right? Stop the press. Who was that? What are your top 5 Batman films? For me, The Dark Knight and Begins are the best of the Batman, Mask of Phantasm, and The Dark Knight Rises. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you, straight edge night. People are going to freak out, but I have not seen Mask of the Phantasm. I remember going to the theater to go check it out because it went to the theaters, right? And the projection broke. And then I'm like, okay, when's it going to be up? Well, it'll be up tomorrow. I go back the next day because the Batman the Animated Series was my favorite series of the 90s, man, as far as comic book shows. And the projection broke. So I just never got around to do it. And I've heard so many people say that's one of the best Batman stories ever. And I believe you. I 100% believe you. But I just haven't seen that yet. So I hear it's good. But for me, I don't want to rank the best because the Batman that I spoke about in 89, you had to be there. It was so fucking big. And granted, it may not have aged well, but the Batmobile, the design of it, just the significance of it, I'd say it's up there. I'd say number 1, 2 Begins. And again, I'm not ranking from best to worst. Okay, I'm just kind of shooting off the hip here. Then Batman Begins, because I remember leaving the theater and saying to myself, they did it right. This is exactly what Batman is. You know, Commissioner Gordon's talking, turns around, he's gone, you know, things like that. Of course, The Dark Knight. I'll never forget that experience. Dark Knight Rises, I love. I think not many people talk about that as much. And I think Tom Hardy as Bane, that's probably one of the scariest villains in comic book movies. Do you agree? I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. What is, in your opinion, to everybody who's watching, who is the scariest villain of all comic books? DC and Marvel. Go back to the 80s if you have to. But in my opinion, the scariest one is Bane. Just the presence that he has. And I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body. That whole scene, man, no score. You just seen Batman getting beat all to hell. Oh, dude. You fight like a younger man. Jack's, they're two different Jokers, dude, man. Okay, I mean, of course, iconic wise, I mean, he won an Oscar for it, but Jack brought fear. I mean, the joke again, just kind of think about this, man. The Joker before that was the only Joker we had reference of was the one from the show. And then they cast Jack Nicholson. And at the time, Jack was the biggest actor in the world. He was known for just having, you know, The Shining and of course the Witches of Eastwick, the Chinatown, all these things. So he brought a sense of violence to the character that we hadn't seen yet, like killing people on screen with like Joker gadgets and shooting people. Like, he stole my balloons and gun, and then he shoots his own he shoots his own guy, Bob. He goes, I'm gonna need a minute alone, guys. That's so funny. But yeah, he brought a sense of violence. So to see somebody that you've always seen in a harmless villain type of persona, and then seeing it brought on screen, but him killing people and shooting them, that was a huge jump. And I hope you can understand that. But it was a huge jump for anybody. Like, man, this Joker's badass. And it was Jack Nicholson, dude. But they're both great, man. But again, if I were just to say my old ass, I can't answer that question, dude, because again, they're both good. They're both good. Damn it, why are you giving me such hard questions? Hey, Super Chat, hold up. Thank you, Rex Explode.
You're pretty good.
Thank you. Hate Once Upon a Time in America, easily my bottom. Dude, I think that's going to be my 31. Oh God. The first hour is just fucking hard to sit through. I think when I talk about it, spoiler, when I talk about it, I'm just going to have the sound effect of a phone ringing my entire 1 minute that I'm talking about it. If you know, you know. But dude, that movie is just a chore. And to be honest, I think that's the only movie I sat through and saw half of it and said, fuck this, I'm done. I get it's a classic. I get it's an epic, but dude, that first 20, 30 minutes of no dialogue is just draining, man. Bob Gunn, that's what I was talking about. Totally agree, Bane. Yeah, the quotes, man. Yeah. Oh, you think darkness is your ally. You merely adopt the dark. I was born in it, raised in it. I didn't see the light until I was a man. By then it was blinding. See, I got the whole damn quotes in my head. Speaking of Nicolas Cage, Superman, did you ever watch a documentary? I need to check it out. As a matter of fact, after this live, I'm going to go check that out. I definitely will, man. But maybe, and again, I remember watching The Flash, a couple years ago, and I saw the giant spider. I'm like, no, they fucking didn't. No, I already knew right away when I saw the spider. I'm like, oh God, that's Nick Cage. Oh, I'm done. That movie pissed me off in so many ways. Actually, that whole sequence pissed me off because they CGI Christopher Reeve and he looked horrible. I'm like, don't do that to my hero, man. Don't bring him on like that as just like a gag. I mean, there's CGI. It could have been done right. I mean, hell, Ramis and Ghostbusters Afterlife looked fucking fantastic. They could have done that. Yeah. Every scene in Once Upon a Time. Dude, yeah, the whole sequence at the beginning where the guy puts a gun on somebody's nipple, I'm like, what are we watching here? I mean, what? I'm like, I'm into that, but come on, man. Okay. Oh God. Glad to hear you didn't like it either. Yeah, I tried to, man. And again, I love old movies. I love movies that are patient and long, that drag. I love movies like that because again, you watch Wrath of Khan now. Some people may say it's slow and boring. No, I fucking love that, man. I love Dances with Wolves. I love 4-hour epics. I remember seeing Dances with Wolves in the theater, and they had intermissions back then where you can go take a piss. I can sit through a good movie. I don't care how long it is, but if it's just dragging, dude, it's like, come on, what are we doing? Another time jump? Didn't he go to Coney Island and he's coming back? What the fuck's going on? Anyway. Have you watched Double Toasted? No, I have not, man. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what we're talking about. Let's see here. JP 1923. This is okay. Does it feel weird in a generation you grew up with where it wasn't cool to like comic books to now suddenly be cool? Yes. Is it? It was the same for me with video games. Yeah, dude. Because look, I've always been a Superman fan. The first tattoo I've ever got was this, the S. Right? I got that when I was 18, and before that, in high school, I wanted a Superman shirt because the Death of Superman comic book series came out. It was 91, 92 when he was killed. And I wanted a Superman shirt. And the only way back then to get a Superman shirt, the blue with the, the red and yellow S, you had to order it through a comic book catalog. You remember the comic books? In the back of it, there's like a catalog, order a shirt, you cut it out, you mail it, you wait 8 to 14 weeks to get it back. That's the only way you can get a comic book shirt. I mean, other than that, they had underoos for kids. So I remember ordering a Superman shirt. And I wore that thing like to the clubs. I wore that thing on dates. I was just into school. I wore that. And people were calling me the F word that we can't say nowadays. And the older seniors were bullying me. Like, take that shit off. What are you, a fucking baby? Where are your underoos, bitch? You were bullied back then. And I'm talking verbally bullied. You were pushed. And if they didn't like your shoes, they'd take them off and throw them or take off your shirt and just steal it, and then you had to walk around the hallways with no shirt. So I was bullied for wearing a Superman shirt. So comic books were considered nerds. And of course, there's nerds and jocks, but the nerds were always bullied upon. I'm serious. I'm not just verbally. I'm talking towel snapped and just beaten, getting lunches and thrown at you. That was pretty bad back then, dude. And it wasn't until I think the Batman movies, but really the mainstream, the whole comic book genre really came to light with Spider-Man in 2001. Because I remember seeing Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst on the cover of some magazine, and everybody was people wearing Spider-Man shirts left and right. People all of a sudden knew who Peter Parker was and who Mary Jane was and the radioactive spider. That was not common knowledge back then. That was not common knowledge. You had to be a comic book nerd to know that. Nobody knew who Thanos was or who Tony Stark was. Nobody knew that. Iron Man wasn't even popular. But Spider-Man, I think, is the movie that brought the whole genre into the mainstream. Because all of a sudden, everybody was like a Spider-Man expert. The movie was a big hit. And it landed. I remember thinking, when I see the Green Goblin and Spider-Man fighting on screen, is it going to look like a Power Rangers movie? Because I think that's going to be the disconnect. If we don't believe that Spider-Man is fighting a dangerous villain, it's going to feel like a Mighty Morphin or Beetleborg show. And I remember when they first started fighting, I didn't feel that. I'm like, okay, that's good. But everybody started being into comic books. And after that, you go to any store now and you can buy a comic book t-shirt, Wolverine, things like that. But yeah, you know what? It does. It does rub my rhubarb in the wrong way, to quote Batman again. It does. But again, I'm glad it's out there now. And again, I'm glad people enjoy it because, again, this is all the things that we loved. And the same thing with video games. Video games and comic books were both frowned upon in the 90s and 80s. And you were bullied. That is the truth, man. 100%. Let's see here. What do we got? And again, thank you for the super chat, sir. Let me give you another one.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
I am Joe Blow.
There you go, man.
Man. You should be paying me, bitch.
I'm a bit of a fan of The Flash, but Christopher Reeve's CGI was insulting. It's a fun movie. I mean, I'll watch the movie now, and aside from the CGI, which can be very distracting, it's a fun movie. Do I wish that we had an actual Flashpoint? If you ask me, the Flashpoint anime, dude, have y'all seen that? Have y'all seen the Flashpoint anime? Dude, that's what I was hoping we would get on screen. And that's not what we got. But if anybody loves anime, like the DC anime movies are great. Watch Flashpoint. That's one of the best animes ever, dude. That's what I was hoping to get in that film, and we didn't get close to that shit. So it really pissed me off. Once Upon a Time in America was the second movie I watched. Okay. The Irishman's good. The Irishman's better. There's better pacing to it, and I understand it's like a 3.5-hour movie, so I'm watching it in increments. So, and again, who doesn't love Bob De Niro and, of course, Pacino, all those other guys? Wow, we're talking about Nothing But Trouble? That's kind of random, dude. Yeah, that's the first on-screen appearance of Tupac in Digital Underground. Nothing But Trouble with Dan Aykroyd is weird, insane movie, early 90s, worth checking out. It's off. Yeah, it is off the rails. It's completely odd and dumb. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I think the studio just gave Dan Aykroyd like a blank check to do what he wanted, and he did what he wanted. And it makes no sense. But again, we're talking Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, John Candy, and him himself. So it's totally weird. But yeah, Digital Underground shows up there, man. Remember the Humpty Dance? The Humpty Dance is your chance to do the hump. Okay, Adam, we get it. Yeah, fantastic, man. Joey, what's up? Flashpoint Paradox is one of my favorite DC stories. I wish the Flash could have been. Me too. Man, me too. Yeah, Willem Dafoe was a great villain in that movie. Like I said, the whole transformation when he's in that sequence and they put him in that gas chamber. There were moments in that movie, and again, thanks to Sam Raimi, that were scary. Him transforming into the Goblin. Has anybody seen the actual the makeup test for the original Green Goblin mask they were going to use? It looked like comic book accurate Green Goblin with all these animatronics that would have like a muscle, like him smiling and looking angry. That looked great, man. Sometimes I wish they used that instead of the mask. But dude, that's scary. But yeah, I love that Sam Raimi had those three movies of the Spider-Man trilogy. But I love how he brought the element of horror in the movie just to kind of scare people. I've said this many times. The ending of the original Spider-Man when the Green Goblin is just beating the shit out of Spider-Man, where his mask is tearing apart, there's bombs blowing up right in his face. The whole theater got quiet. It was like, oh shit, what's going on here? It really is scary. And just like Spider-Man 2, which is my opinion, the next, I'm not counting into the Spider-Verse because that's like a CGI movie, but it's still great. I don't want to take anything away from that. But Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man movie of all time, in my opinion. And just to see that Doc Ock sequence was when he's in the surgery room and all the surgeons are just about to take off the arms, and it turns into a horror movie for a second and the arms are killing people left and right. I love that. There needs to be a little shock in these movies that they don't have anymore. And I want more of that. And I got to give kudos to Sam Raimi, man, for just bringing that story to light, man. That's fucking awesome. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go watch Spider-Man 2 after this. You know what? I've never seen the first Blade Runner, but Blade Runner 2049 is one of my favorite movies of the last decade. I want to, every now and then I set aside a day to watch it because that's actually one of the scores. Because when I work with my horrible ADHD, I need scores in the background. I can't have music with lyrics playing because it just distracts me and I just kind of go off the rails. I need scores. And that score for Blade Runner 2049 is one of the best scores that just kind of calms me down, dude. Fucking awesome, dude. I love that movie. But I need to see the first one. And there's so many versions of it. If you're a Blade Runner fan of the original, what version should I see? Let me know. And I'll take your suggestion. I'll check it out. Nick, what's up? My intro to Thanos was Marvel Super. Yeah. And at the arcade, right? Yep. 100%. The Irishman was good. I'll give it that, but the pacing was not it. Yeah, it's more of like an epic film, very long and lots of generations, a lot of timelines to talk about. So, but again, I just love the actors. Under the Red Hood is one of the definitive. You know what? I have not seen that yet. I need to check that out. What is the last DC film? Dark Justice League. I saw that was good. And the what's the last one with the it was Crisis of Infinite Worlds. That was really emotional. You got to hear, God, what's his name? I forgot his name. The voice of Batman and Mark Hamill fight. I can't believe I forgot his name. He's the Batman voice. God damn it, Rudy, what's up? This is what happens when you get old. You forget your Batman voice actor. Kevin Conroy. Come on, Rudy. How can I forget that? Kevin Conroy. Yeah. It's one of his last acting roles as Batman. That was a great sequence. So Crisis on Infinite Worlds is really good. So check that out when you get a chance. Let's see. The DC animated universe from Flashpoint to Apocalypse was very solid. Yep. I think if they had a live action version, that would be awesome. Yeah, I do too. And that's what I was hoping the Snyderverse would give us. I was hoping for that. And I had read some reports because you remember at the beginning of BVS, I think Lauren Holly, is that her name? She's from Walking Dead, and Jeffrey D. Morgan were playing Thomas Wayne and his mother. And what I heard was that in the Flashpoint movie, the original script they had, Jeffrey Dean Morgan was going to be Batman. Can you believe that shit? And not Lauren Holly, but you know what, the actress I'm talking about, she was going to be the Joker. That would have been so fucking epic, man, to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne Batman. Oh, God. That would have been awesome, but they didn't do that. Fuck. Shit.
You grabbed my nuts.
Anyway, what do we got here? Again, super chats, guys, are appreciated. I think I'm going to be live till what? We've been live for an hour, so maybe till 10:30, okay? Jason, what's up, man? Rudy, did you hear about them showing the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever out in LA? Oh, I've heard about that cut. I did not know that. That would be so epic to see. I know there's a sequence that's cut that where Batman's looking at a giant bat, and it got really dark into the psyche of Bruce Wayne. I would love to see that. I would really love to see that because I know they were trying to make it kid friendly. Because again, Batman Returns came out, and you have the Joker who put rockets on fucking. You have the Penguin, sorry, who put rockets on penguins to go kill the firstborn children of Gotham. It's a kid's movie. You can buy a Happy Meal and get the toys for that. So that was a little too dark, right? So they went and created a more kid-friendlier version of Batman to sell more toys. And I do enjoy Batman Forever. I kind of, and I say this in not an insulting way, but Batman Forever is fun. And, you know, I go back and revisit it every now and then. But I think a lot of the MCU movies that have come out recently, they remind me of Batman Forever. They're just fun movies. I mean, they're harmless, they're fun. The hero wins at the end. Whatever. But yeah, dude, I would love to check that out. If they ever released a cuts, a DVD, whatever, I would take that. I would check that out in a heartbeat, man. Yeah, man. Yes. If I'm gonna go out the way I've always fought, like Batman. That was fucking awesome, dude. Negan Conquest as Batman would have been awesome. Yeah. That's that. I just started watching Invincible and I'm not too into it. I mean, I've caught bits and pieces of it, and that's the last episode I saw. Like, my God, dude, like, what is that Conquest monologue that went viral for a while? Like, I am so lonely. I'm a victim of my own success. Like, damn, he's confessing to him, thinking this is the last thing he's gonna hear. So he's being totally honest with him. That really hit, man. That really hit hard. Like, damn. By the way, your take on the movie Norman It fucking sucked, dude. I mean, it's great, man. I enjoyed it. It was fun. But again, I just did not enjoy it whatsoever. I was so annoyed, man. Like, well, after an hour, it's just nonstop screaming and bitching. I'm like, oh my God, man. Oh, these kids, they're making mistakes. They're not going to get divorced, and the parents are going to be pissed, man. But it's so fucking annoying, dude. I don't know how it won Best Picture. I'm still oblivious to that. I don't know. It's a great movie, but Best Picture? I don't know. I don't know about you, Miss Kitty, but you're still quoting Batman, dude. Michelle Pfeiffer is and will always be the Catwoman of all cinema. I know Anne Hathaway she was okay. She was kind of hot, but no. Nobody, I don't think any woman will ever hold a candle to Michelle Pfeiffer. No way. No, she was epically the best, man. Oof. Awesome. Don't forget the penguins French. I forgot about that. Oh God.
You grabbed my nuts.
Oh God. Jeez, man, that's hilarious. Right? Oh, the adults got it right. My favorite Bond villain. You know what? I'm not really a Bond fan. Who was a villain in Octopussy? The Russian with the Fabergé egg? Maybe? I just like saying Octopussy. Man, this guy from the Autop stream is a fucking pervert, man.
No, just shut the fuck up and do it already.
Yeah, so no, not Octopussy. I think two come to mind, and they're the most recent ones, okay? I love Casino Royale. And I forget the guy's name, but he was bleeding blood, right? He had a teardrop blood. I forget his name. But there's also the one, I think, Skyfall. Well, I think he was gay, but he was fucking awesome. He was like a hacker. And I love, there's a monologue. I forget the actor's name. Something Bardem, Javier Bardem, where he exits an elevator from one end of the building and he's walking toward Bond. And he's just kind of giving a monologue of who he is and something about rats in an island. But by the time he gets to Bond, it's like, oh, this character's awesome. So those are two characters I enjoy. And maybe the Russian general from Octopussy. Of all the Bond movies, of course, you would see Octopussy. Yeah, that's the movie they showed on HBO, man, when I was a kid. Can't help it. Oh my God. Julie Newmar, yeah, of course. Oh, it got super chat. Holy shit, I didn't see that. Danny, what's up, man?
You're pretty good.
And of course, I have to give you the moan, so everybody. There you go. Danny. Seeing trailers for Final Destination Bloodlines and Megan 2, and in my opinion, showed way too much. They always do. Yeah, I saw. I'm laughing in the movie because again, I don't know. I know Megan was a big hit because of the what made Megan special. Was it just that dance sequence that everybody was replicating? I know the Megan doll was at the Universal like Horror Nights. They had this one poor actress like dancing that same routine like 100 times a day. That must have been exhausting. But was it that viral piece that made Megan so popular? Is it? Do we owe TikTok any credit in making Megan a hit? I mean, it was a fun movie, right? It was a fun movie. I mean, what movie featuring a killer doll? We haven't seen that before. But no, was it that clip that made it viral and made it popular? I don't know. I do. It seems ridiculous. It kind of reminds me of the Terminator 2 Judgment Day, what they're doing with Megan 2, where there's the schematics. It's like Metal Gear, right? The schematics of Metal Gear went out to the world, and another country built a Metal Gear, and it's deadly, and we need something to come fight it. So they get the. This sounds so stupid. So they get the Megan, I guess, essence or the conscious and put it in a stronger, taller body to go combat the Metal Gear. And it's going to make $1 billion. You just watch. Oh, God. It looks fun. It looks fun. It's going to make its budget. What are they going to spend? $5 million? You know, the Blumhouse, you know what they're going to do. They're going to spend 5, 10 million, maybe 5, maybe 10 most with the special effects. And it's going to make $50 million. It's going to make more of its budget because it's popular. And they're going to, of course, maybe they're going to find another dance sequence for Megan to do so everybody can replicate it. Just like that damn Wednesday Addams clip. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for the super chat.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Let me go back down here real quick. Let's see here. For me, my favorite Bond villain is 006. Yeah. I need to see GoldenEye again. That was a big hit too. But my favorite Bond, actually, I will say this. My favorite Bond is Timothy Dalton. Because again, Roger Moore was over there with Octopussy, Moon Reamer, whatever it was called. It was okay. They're very silly and cheeky. Then you have Goldfinger too. And then Timothy Dalton shows up in the mid 80s, and the movie's tone was more violent. It was actually like an espionage spy movie. And Timothy Dalton came in with just this seriousness about him. And a lot of people didn't like it, but a lot of people did. I enjoyed it. But again, I do love the Timothy Dalton Bond. I think he's my favorite. But he was my favorite. 100%. I love those tones. I think it's the License to Kill and The Living Daylights were the two Timothy Dalton movies, and then they stopped because I guess people weren't big fans of them. They weren't making money, and they brought in what's his face, Goldeneye, and he was he was awesome, dude. I didn't think he was until like, oh, we're finding more about him. Like, oh, okay, fucking awesome villain, dude. Christopher Walken in A View to Kill and Sean Bean and Goldeneye. Yeah. Definitely 100%. Did any of you guys play the game, the Goldeneye game? I was a PlayStation guy, and I was completely faithful to PlayStation, so I didn't buy a 64, so I never played Goldeneye. And I know that may shock a lot of you, but yep. I never played Goldeneye. What the fuck's wrong with this guy? Okay, go back to some comments here. Luca Guadagnino, other than Suspiria, what else has he done? Let me check. Luca Guadagnino. Hold on. Let me look it up because I'm pretty sure I've seen his other films, but Suspiria is my favorite remake ever. They're great, man. Suspiria, let's see. I haven't seen Queer. I haven't seen Call Me by Your Name. I haven't seen Does anybody see Challengers? Was that any good? Bones and All. American Psycho? Is he doing the remake? Oh, he directed American Psycho. I didn't know that. Let's see, Austin Butler. No, he's directing the remake of American Psycho. Oh. American Psycho is like one of those movies you don't want to touch, man. It's fucking awesome. Let's see here. Challengers got great acclaim. I need to check. I heard it was like slow and boring. I could be wrong, but that's what people told me. But yeah, I haven't seen his other films. I definitely need to check them out. But Suspiria, that movie, I own it like in 4K, Blu-ray, in the film back there. Again, it's one of my favorites, dude. It's haunting. I love that movie. But I got to check out the rest. Maybe Challengers, I'll check it out. Isn't that the tennis movie? Yeah. See, I love the GoldenEye on the 64. I could play that game today and unlock every character in Secret Level. Challengers and Call Me by Your Name are great. Highly recommended. I'll check that out. I'll add that to the list. Let's see. What other questions we got? Thanks for the questions, everybody. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Javier Bardem. Yeah. 100%. And who was the general in Octopussy? I forget. Do you still watch trailers or avoid them? You know what? I avoid them. I'll watch the teaser. The teaser for me is all I watch because, again, I don't want to get anything spoiled. And the only reason I did a reaction to the new Superman trailer is because I knew it was going to be clipped all to hell. It's going to be all over TikTok. And I'm like, okay, let me just watch it and just kind of get it over with, right? But I tend to stay away from the second trailer, the first, second, and third trailer, because, again, trailers give away way too much. And I forgot who mentioned it earlier, to his point, the Megan trailer that came out, they did kind of spoil a lot of the movie, kind of know exactly what's going to happen. And that's the last thing I want, is like to know exactly what happens. I remember one trailer, was it Terminator Genesis? They gave away the whole fucking movie in the big twist. I was like, really? They just told the whole movie John Connor is now a Terminator. Why would they tell you that on the trailer? No, okay. I guess I have to see it now, right? Whatever. Timothy Dalton was originally going to be in GoldenEye, but something about the early 90s U.S.-Russian tensions held him. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. But yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. Because again, he is my favorite Bond. Again, I grew up with him. Everyone says Sean Connery's the best, but I haven't seen one Sean Connery 007 movie. Yeah. Yeah, Steven Berkoff. Yeah, he's also been in tons of other movies. I know Steven Berkoff. He was also in Beverly Hills Cop. He was in Rambo First Blood. Yeah, he was like the villain guy in all the 80s movies, man. Yeah. Beverly Hills Cop, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Octopussy, Fair Game, and a ton of other movies I'd never heard of. The girl with the dragon tattoo? Really? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. But I will always remember him in Octopussy. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, they both did that, man. It was just like, why would you spoil the whole damn movie, man? That makes no sense. In Final Destination 5, do you think how the ending was sad because Sam and Molly died after surviving Peter, only to discover they were on the flight 180 when it was supposed to explode? No, because you know the movies. I mean, you know the movies. No one. I mean, this is not spoilers. I'm not talking about the new one, but most times at the end of the movie, they all die. So I don't expect anybody to live in any of these movies. I mean, no, they all die. So I guess I didn't get sad about that at all. No, because I kind of know what to expect. I mean, I think if they didn't kill everybody in the movie, I think people would be disappointed. That would be me. But yeah, I didn't. Would you do a video on things you learned becoming a dad? Oh my God, that's like way off. Maybe for Rude Advice. I don't know if that would land here on the movie channel. I tend to keep this channel like my outlet for fun and doing what I love and talking about things that I love. I guess I could, but it would be on the Rude Advice platform. It wouldn't be here. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of things I learned as a dad. Number one thing I learned as a dad is that in the middle of the night, if you hear a noise, you're the one who has to go downstairs and check it out. Your dad's not going to go do it. You have to go do it. I remember the first time that happened, I'm like, holy shit, I'm the man of the house. I got to go check. I'll never forget that moment. But yeah, you got to go out there and protect the family, man. Go check out that noise. And don't be sure you're protected. You know what I mean? Let's see here. I know the other guys not streaming Defend, Terminator Dark Fate. What are your thoughts on that? It's grown on me. I bought it a couple years ago on digital, and my wife hadn't seen it. And I'm like, oh, let's check it out again. And I remember hating it when it first came out. Anything after T2 has been trash, right? Let's just, other than maybe, what's the Mick G movie, Salvation? I think Salvation's really underrated, man. A lot of people aren't talking about that, and I think it's forgotten. They tried to do something different. I wish the aesthetic of the film looked more like part 1 and 2. You know, like it was dark. The sky was kind of dark and burnt, and you know, the hunter killers all had those same laser weapons. I wanted more of that, but I think Salvation is highly, highly forgotten and needs to be talked about more. But Dark Fate, I like it. I like it now. The CGI in the beginning looks so good, man. That actually does look like a young Edward Furlong and Linda Hamilton. The CGI is looking really good, man. But I do like it. Yeah, I enjoyed it the second time. I really did. But yeah, Dark Fate is awesome. Hey, Hayden, what's up, man? You're all over the place. You're on my Rude Advice lives, and you're here, man. Thanks for following. Just saw an early screen. Bring her back to. Really? I haven't heard about. Let's see. Bring her back. Bring her back. Oh, damn! Look at that poster. Oh, it's an A24 movie. Oh, I'm in. Those films usually land with me. I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, Salvation. Even though the ending didn't make sense, he was like shot through the heart and keep him alive. Like he doesn't have a heart. What? Oh, the YouTubers. Nice, man. Very cool. Sorry for the off-topic question, laugh out loud. What are your movie genres you don't like? Rom-coms. Yeah, rom-coms. Snuff. Torture porn. You know those movies that just go out just to be gross, just to be gross? I'm not really a fan of that. I need something behind that. Some of the Terrifier movies are great, but it's really tough. Like I don't think I've revisited a Terrifier movie after seeing. I own them, but seeing them is kind of tough again. I think it's like the experience I like, but after that, I'm like, I don't want to revisit that. Rom-coms, and I think that's what comes to mind is rom-coms. I love all types of movie genres. I love foreign films, like horror movies that are foreign films, because there's no rules with that, man. They're really dark. I love that shit. Let's see here. I'm a fan of all the Terminator films besides 3, even Genesis. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, at 2, what else can you say other than kind of prolong and tell the same story? But for me, I was like, meh. Yeah, but rom-coms, good to go back with that. The one movie that comes to mind is the Notebook. That movie's trash. Yes, I guess I don't know why people consider it romantic, but it's just like a movie that kind of like validates cheating. The woman was going to marry Cyclops. Good man, handsome man. But she saw her ex-boyfriend on the cover of a magazine or newspaper, and I need some space. Oh, what? And she went and cheated on her ex. So that's romantic, huh? Okay. Anyway. So 31, Pain and Suffering. That was a lot of fun. Tom Cruise is flying to San Antonio next week on Thursday to surprise people at screenings. What? He is? Tom is coming to San Antonio. Where did you get this information? Because I kind of want to, I would love to be there. I think I know what theater he'd go to. There's like one big theater here in San Antonio that I know where he would go to. So that's interesting. Who's your source, man? It better not be Trust Me, bro. Who's your source? Are you aware of the song that was playing Final Destination 4? No, I have not heard of that. I play about it. Want to get another copyright thing. Dallas too? What the hell? Hey, another super chat. All right, hold up. We got another super chat. Yeah.
You're pretty good.
And you also get the thanks, Rexplode. What's your favorite of the 31s I've done so far? The last one we did, where I did the movie where I love doing little movies, and that's going to be me. As far as I've always said this, like as far as the critics, I think Cody, Sean, and Brian and CP are better critics than me. I mean, they're more into the knowledge and they're talented. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from me, but they're better than me. When I talk about movies, I talk about how they make me feel, because it's an art, right? So I'm just going to go with the old Roger Ebert school of critics and movie reviews, is that go with how they make you feel. And that's what I do. But I like to bring in my own thing, and being part of the Autopsy stream is like a huge honor for me. I'm like, some of these guys are my best friends, to talk to Cody every day. So I'm like, let me bring something else to this whole thing. Let me make my own movies, like little short movies. And I want the movies to get more elaborate and just more expensive if I can as the years go on. So I have to say this last one was really good. Pain and Suffering was fun, but the last one of me making a movie where my ghost face Cody stabs me and my guts spill out, that was a whole lot of fun, man. Even had the AI song added at the end, the Cody and CB song. All right, cool. Then I'll definitely go check it out. Interesting fact about Blumhouse: their most expensive production was for Halloween Ends, and it still made hundreds of millions while it was released to streaming. Yeah. Again, I'm not a fan of how that ended. Not a fan of that how it ended at all. But again, thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. Did I get everybody? Let's see. I got that one. Get that one. Get that one. Oh, we got another one. Oh, thank you so much. Hold up. Thank you, Gavin Moon. $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Have you ever seen The Place Beyond the Pines? Why does that sound familiar? I may have. The Place Beyond the Pines. Sorry. 2012. I have. This one was good. I think that's the movie where Ryan Gosling is the father of a kid, right? And then spoilers, then something happens and then somebody else comes in as a father figure. I remember that movie being really good. Yes, I remember that movie being very, very good. It's been a while since I've seen it. I remember it being a tough watch. But the other movie, it's directed by Derek Seinfranz. If you really want to see a movie, and I may go into the rude device space for a second here, but if you want to see a movie that will really fucking destroy you, oh God, man, and you want to know how a marriage ends and relationship ends, oh Jesus, man, this movie by the same director, fuck, man, Blue Valentine. This movie is a hard watch. I mean, you see two different people who learned about love in different ways growing up, and you see those love languages kind of clash in adulthood. So I said this when I first saw this movie, I'm like, this is like how my marriage ended. Like when I got divorced, like almost 10 years ago. That's a fucking hard watch. So if you want to see a movie that like know how marriages end, people like fighting and just heartbreak, that movie, you brought it up, not me. This director, man, that is a tough watch, man, but it's a really good movie. It's a really damn good movie. So check that out, man. That like hit me like hard when I first saw that. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how it is. So yeah, if you want to be like fucked up for the next 5 days, go watch that movie. But no, I saw it and I loved it. I just don't remember much of it because I saw it almost 10 years ago. Okay. But again, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Okay, we got a few more comments. I said 1:30 at 12:30. What? We're already over on time. Let me answer a few more questions and then I'll go ahead and end the live. But again, I hope you enjoyed it. And again, I thank you for the feedback. I think I had over 100 votes when I asked for last week's live. Like, hey, are you enjoying the lives? Do you guys want more of this? Do you go back to once a month? A lot of you voted, and I had a huge turnout on the poll. Like, you guys, hey, just do every Wednesday. Thank you for all the feedback, man. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, Bradley Cooper is the second half. I just didn't want to spoil what had happened. Yeah. What is some of your favorite B-style horror movies? One that comes to mind for me is Eight-Legged Freaks. I legit saw it in the theater. B-style? The Stuff is good. Chud. I mean, you'd be surprised. Like, my wife and I, that's why I love my wife so much. Is like we go to Amazon and look at the low budget, like shit movies of the 80s. We watched like Street Trash the other day. We watched like the craziest shit, man. Like what's the one with the She-Wolf of the SS? Elisa, or something like that. Like that was like, hold on, She-Wolf of the SS. Was that what it's called? Of the SS. Is that what it's called? Isa, She-Wolf of the SS. That movie is a fucking trip, dude. Back in 75. I guess I like schlock. To answer your question, I like schlock, almost like exploitation films. They make me laugh. I love those movies. Again, I just love how Rudy Ray Moore movies are great as well. But as far as horror, I always go for like low budget movies because they tend to make me laugh. Suburban Sasquatch is hilarious. If you just want to laugh your ass off, just check out Suburban Sasquatch when you get a chance. If WB greenlit Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 as a closing to the universe, what would you have wanted to seen it, and how would you have wanted the universe to? There's a YouTube. The script was leaked, and there's a couple YouTube videos that are out that kind of like animate what's supposed to happen, and I literally got goosebumps when I saw how like the whole trilogy was supposed to end, where the whole world becomes the Justice League. Because you remember in the Zack Snyder's Justice League how they talk about the old war with man, Atlanteans, and the Amazons, heroes from space. They all kind of fought together to defeat Darkseid. Well, in the epic ending, Superman gave like a speech to the world and kind of more or less said, we're all here. We're all the part of this planet. We're all going to fight. We're all going to defeat Darkseid. We are the Justice League. The entire planet is the Justice League. And there was supposed to be this huge epic battle with Superman, all the superheroes, and every army of the world attacking Darkseid. Fuck, that would have been awesome, dude. Goosebumps. I wish you can see like this fucking goosebumps. That would have been awesome. The whole world fighting Darkseid. That would have been fucking awesome. But we're not going to get that. What he had written outside of the love affair between Lois and Batman, I think that was kind of dumb, but that the ending would have been amazing. Earth uniting again under one name, the Justice League to defeat Darkseid. Dude, that was, oh God. Damn it. That would have been cool. Yeah, Michelle. Oh yeah, she's great in everything. I can't think of a movie that she was in where she wasn't great, but that's a great movie, man. Yeah, are you familiar with the series Beyond? Yeah, that was in the 90s, man. I grew up with that. I love how that we've all seen that meme, right, on IG or TikTok, where it's like if you're an introvert and you don't know how to communicate with your date, they show all those clips of Jonathan Frakes. It's like, how much money would it cost for you to spend a night in a haunted house? You like skiing? How long can you hold your breath? They always crack me up. Anytime that clip comes up, and now that I've said it, I know my phone's listening, and I'm going to watch that later. We're all probably going to watch that later. But when you do, think of me when you do, okay? Oh, God. Okay, last question. It's on KSAT. Okay. Really? Okay. Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, again, I want to go ahead and end the live, everybody. Thank you for joining. I really do appreciate these. I really love the engagement. I feel like we got a little community here. I really do appreciate that. Everybody joining in, all the comments, suggestions, and all that. Really do appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. And again, I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Go check out. Again, I'm recommending Final Destination, Bloodlines. I enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the other films, you're going to enjoy this one. It's going to give you the same thing, which is a good thing. All right. So that being said, good night, everybody. Take care. And here's a song with Cody and CP plotting to kill me.
Cody and CP, two hearts entwined.